Gotta take it all in. You've gotta really take it all in. That's what he said. Gotta take it all. And in the same instance, you gotta give it all. Can't be giving it half of what you got. You can't give a quarter. You can't give 5%. If you're gonna give it, you better give it all. Because if you're not giving it all, what's the point of even giving? Better yet, what's the point of taking something that's not all? I know, it's strange. What's this guy talking about? But if you just think about it just for a second, if you're going to do something, or if you're going to give something, if you're going to perform some sort of action, if you're going to get up off your chair and you're going to go out and do something, if you just got done doing something and then you go to do more something, give it all. There's no reason to hold back. There's no reason to tuck your tail. There's no reason to only go. It's like you're on third base and you're sprinting home and then you just stop right before the plate. You just stop and you're like, nah. I was gonna give it my all, but nah. And then someone tags you out. Or the fucking catcher, since he's giving it his all, just mows you over with the ball and you're out. So you going to give it your all today? Are you going to do everything in your possible agility and power and motivation and dedication? Are you going to give it all? Or are you going to let some of it just go by the wayside and just hang out on the corner and stay on the side of the street or get taken out with the trash? Because, if you're going to do it, go do it. And do it fully. Do it fully. Don't just meh. Meh. I tried. I tried to give it my all. No, you fucking didn't. You couldn't have possibly tried to give it your all, or you would have. Get it? Good. So listen, welcome back. Welcome back to the TrapHouse Podcast, episode 21. That's right, folks. You know what that means. We're going drinking tonight. We're going to be popping bottles. Popping bottles. We're going to be popping bottles. 21 years old, 21 episodes. We're 21. We've made it. We've made it this far. We did it. Episode 21. Divisible by 7. And by 3. Who'd have thought? Oh, and it's divisible by 1. It's divisible by 0. It's divisible by just doing division. So, I get it. I know. We've discussed it. And, the last episode we found out that we couldn't possibly. There's no way to possibly understand another human, right? So, look I gotta ask then. If I can't possibly understand or know, I've got to ask, how's everyone doing? How's every space body doing? How are you humans? How have you been getting along? How have you been going along? How have you been making wise choices? In fact, have you been making wise choices? When was the last time you looked in the mirror? Every day, you say? Have you asked yourself, have you been making wise choices? Or have you just been going along to get along? Have you just been swimming up creek with the salmon? And just going along to get along? This fish swims upstream to die. Well, to give birth and then to die. Y'all been getting along and going along and doing what everybody else is doing? How fun is it to know that to get along, you gotta go along, and then when you go along, the end is not what you had thought it would be, but what you had thought it may be. is because you were told, hey, this right here, this stream, this is the stream you want to be swimming up and against the current. You want to do it. You got to do it. Because why? Because everybody else is doing it. Obviously, you got to do it. So just do it. And when you do it, give it your all. But then you sit back and you ask yourself, why am I doing this? It's because somebody told me. It's because everyone else is doing it. It's because I've been convinced to do it. It's because I've been bribed to do it. So thus the question that I ask, how's it going? Have you been making wise choices? When I say make wise choices, right? When I ask, have you been making wise choices? And I come to the conclusion that, most humans have not. Some have, most have not. And we're on the decline where pretty much all will be making not wise choices. If one human is a human, and then there's another human that's a human, and then that human says, hey, you need to do this, but wait a minute, aren't we on the same playing field? Isn't this a level field? Isn't this where we all start out? Isn't this how we all came to be? We're human now, but we got other humans who say you can and can't. Somebody tell me this. Somebody tell me. Please, somebody explain it to me. How is it that there's humans that are human and us humans don't have a say? Just use your little idea machine. Maybe go in there and blow off the key and stick it in the key slot and just try to turn over that thought engine. Tick, 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 tick. Seems like a lot of people who try to use their thought, this doesn't work. I don't know. You got the wrong key? Did you accidentally get in the wrong? Have you been persuaded to not think and have what the crazies call free thought? Just do it. Every once in a while, look at it. It's worth giving it all you got. Just to sit down and or stand up or walk or run or exercise or go to a job or hang out with the family but no matter what, during any activity, which just kind of involves your body, that you choose to do. And you can do it mindless, and you can do it you can do it almost like a dog. You can do it just instinctually, But in that meantime, you're able to think. And as we like to do here at the TrapHouse podcast, I'm sending out this encouragement. Just think a little more. Again, I gotta say it. Welcome fucking back. Welcome back. Thanks for showing up to episode 21 of the TrapHouse podcast. Now, it's been a week, and there's been a lot of time to think and to do and to create and to encourage and to lift up and to beat down, to get down, to raise the roof. There's been enough time to do all these things, to do things, and then to do all things. To see all things, to hear all things, to learn something new. So how have you spent that time that you've had? Remember, folks, that choice, the choice on how you choose to spend your time is solely 100% up to you. Nobody, not never, ever, and for all time, can ever tell you or make a choice for you. Nobody. You always have choices. For all of time and all of space, and from the time that Adam and Eve found out they had a cock and vagina to the time that we evolved, come out of the water, to the time where aliens came down and implanted their DNA into the soil. And from the time that, the perisperm or the permasperm came from outer space and populated the planet, whatever you choose to believe. But from the time that you became human, you've been given choices. And you've been given these choices that stick with you your entire life, or the entire time that you choose to exist. So, have you been making wise choices like Mom always said to do? Have you been doing that? If not, listen, this is a podcast that would definitely be realistic when answering questions or comments or concerns, and I'd really boil down the issues. I really like to boil down the issues. Don't get me going on the hunger problem in the world. Don't get me going on that, because I've already solved it. I've solved it. It's a 700-step program. It's going to take 25 years, but I've solved it just by thinking about it. It's a simple plan. Like I said, 700 points, 25 years, no more hunger. Hey, I got the answers. I've also got the questions. And why would we spend any day, any part of our day, just not questioning, not having the courage, I guess? I mean, I guess it takes courage nowadays to ask questions. But why doesn't anybody have the courage to ask why? And then on top of having the courage to ask questions, to not be bashful and to not be brazen and to not be afraid. So if you have the courage to ask the question, why be afraid to accept an answer that is not sufficient to the question? These are just questions, things. You just ask them. They're so simple. They're so simple. Most people wouldn't have a life if it wasn't for a question. Most people wouldn't be married if they didn't ask. Most people wouldn't have car insurance if they didn't ask, hey, how do I get insurance? Most people wouldn't know that the coffee or the water for the coffee or the water for the tea, most people wouldn't know if the water was hot or ready if they didn't say, hey, is the water ready? If you're not asking questions and you're old enough to speak, once you become knowledgeable of speech, once you become knowledgeable of, hey, I could put these letters together, and then those letters make words, and those words, if formed properly with the proper punctuation at the end, can form a question. Have people forgotten this? Have people forgotten how to question? Just a question. So listen, you know how it goes here. You know how it goes. There's no tricks. There's no schemes. There's no gimmicks. There's no propaganda here at the TrapHouse podcast. Epiphany Chris just tells you how it is from my view of point. I tell you how it is from my view of point. And that's that. If you don't like it, if you don't like what I have to say, not only you can turn it off, which I've said many times, but if you're still listening and you don't like what I have to say, or you're misinterpreting what I have to say, just cease to exist. Okay? Maybe just cease to exist. Start living a little. But there's nothing better than knowing what's coming. You want me to tell you what's coming? Because it's coming. Last week I'd asked the question, what is the end game for humanity? here's something to think about if you have not already. Just a simple question. 7 words. What is the end game for humanity? Question mark. Now, I've got to just break away for a second. I have to tell you this. I'm normally one take. Normally, I sit down, record, add in the music, and then post. Normally one take. Just sit down, finish, be done. But I just had to go relieve myself. So I went and relieved myself. But then, coming back up into the podcast room, I open the door. I see the sign on the door that says recording in process, but I'm not in there. But the sign's there and it says recording in process. But I just walk through the door, and then I'm hit with this aroma. I'm hit with this smell that hits the senses. You know, you know how you've got a nose? Everybody's got a little nose there. And you breathe in and out of it sometimes. Sometimes you breathe in and out of your mouth. But when you breathe in and out of your nose, you're able to enjoy or smell or, particles somehow get up there inside your nose. And sometimes they just wake you up. Or they make you disgusted. But smell. So I bypassed the recording in process sign. Everybody knows if there's a sign somewhere you need to, it's strictly enforced. But anyway, I opened the door. Obviously there's no recording in process going on, but I walked in anyway. So I get in here and I'm hit with this aroma of some of the skunkiest, I'm telling you, I don't know. It's just like that. It's just like the skunkiest. And then on top of it, I got my sand and driftwood wood burning candle. And let me tell you, plus the lavender essential oils going on, who wouldn't want to record in here? Who wouldn't? But just a little tidbit. I had to step away, had to come back, and then when I came back, it's like while I was in here earlier, I hadn't noticed because I was accustomed to it. I've just become so accustomed to the setup and the way things are that because normally I don't leave the room. I when I leave the room, that shit's done. I ain't gotta fucking come back in here. But for some reason today, my bladder just said, hey, should have emptied the tank prior. But I didn't. So I was able to step out and then come back in. And I'll tell you right now, folks, that's kind of like how life is currently for every human. You've been stuck or you've been placed in this, I'm going to say box. You've been placed in a box. And you've been in there for so goddamn long that you don't realize what's really going on, really just in that box. What's really going on, Even a whole senses are being taken away. 2 whole senses. You can have all your senses taken away. You've been in the box for so long that all your senses are dumbed down. They've been retarded. So just because this is the Trap House podcast and you're dealing with and hearing and listening to Epiphany Chris, I just had an epiphany mid-ep. And that is, step outside your box. Go beyond your internal and more than likely your external perimeters. Go beyond. And you know what? Since we like to push the envelope, again, we don't know what the fuck that means, but since we like to boil things down, don't go beyond your borders or your perimeter. Go beyond beyond. Take those extra couple steps. And then when you're out there and you're living instead of just existing, then go back and see truly what it's like in your box. All right, well, that was a nice little extra. That was a nice little extra spice to the episode. Thanks, universe, or whoever we're supposed to thank. But seriously though, what is the end game for humanity? So if you think of all of existence, and you think of all of time, and you think of all humans that have lived and died or expired or are no longer with us, or if you just think, if you just take a moment and think about 1 year. Just think about 1 year that you've had. It doesn't have to be a specific year. It doesn't have to be this year. It doesn't have to be last year. It could be 10 years ago. It could be 15 years ago. It could be 4 years ago. It could be 6 months ago. How was the year from then? But look, just think of 1 year of your life. Of your life. Not any other human's life, but just in your singular human life. Just yours. How did that year go? Even if you're thinking about a year that was phenomenal. You had the best year. There could be no year in your life that could ever possibly top that 1 year. Okay, have we done this? We've done that? We thought about 1 year? Now, you gotta bear with me and use thought. You gotta use thought. You gotta manipulate your head or brain or consciousness or whatever you choose to fucking name it. You've gotta use it just to think about 1 year of your existence. Now that you've done that, what is the end game for you? What is the end game just for you? You live a life that may go to 80, 90, 100 years old. And now that we've thought about 1 year of our life, think about 5 years of your life, 10 years of your life, 20 years of your life, 50 years of your life. Now, if you've thought and just really thought about it instead of passively thinking about it like most humans do nowadays, because we just go along with everything that we are told. So what is your end game? Specifically just for you. Now, a lot of people will say, well, I don't know my purpose. Well, that's not what I'm fucking asking you now, is it? What I'm asking is, what is your end game? So, we discussed this last week, but you were born, didn't have a choice. You were given a name, didn't have a choice. Now you have to put meaning behind a name you didn't choose to a life you never asked for. So now that we're in this predicament where you've got to put meaning behind a name to live a life you didn't ask for, what for you is the end game? A lot of people, now I'm saying a lot of people would say this because I've got ears and I've heard them say it. A lot of people have said with their mouth and putting a little bit of thought behind having to make those words come out of their mouth, said, well, I'm living to die, obviously, or I'm living paycheck to paycheck. But a lot of people, their end is death, or their end is to try to scrape up enough money to get baby formula, or to scrape up enough money to put gas in my tank to go to a government building that will pay for my baby formula. So, really, the question is the answer. What's the end game for humanity? What's the end game for human? What's the end game for you? What's the end game for animal life? What's the end game for plant life? What's the end game for any life? What is the end game? And again, don't confuse it with what's your purpose? Because we've already figured that out. The purpose of life is to put meaning behind a word. And that word is your name. So what is the end game? Seriously, what's the end game? Is the end game for us to become space humans? Have we been Earth-dwelling humans for so long that we're like, oh, well, this is boring. Let's see what it's like to be space humans. And then once you become space humans, do you become alien? Do you become aliens? What is the end game here? Are we just running from the inevitable? What? Listen, Epiphany Chris, what the fuck are you talking about? Why in the fuck would you ask a question like that? Why does it even matter? Why do you even care? Why is it even something you think about? Well, I can answer those questions for you. Simply put, every day, as a human, every single day, we go out into the world, we go out into planet Earth, and if we have jobs to work, or if we have groceries that need to be fetched from the store, or if we have animals that need to be walked or played with, or children that need to be brought to a specific location for a sporting event, if in fact you ever have to go and do, you must also see. And every day, every single day that I'm able to go out and do, I see what human has become. Now, there is no answer. There's no answer. No definitive answer on the end game for humanity. There can't possibly be. Because everybody could say, well, then I want to, after this, then we're going to do that. But look at, if this is the rat race of life, if this is a journey that we're all on, if this is an adventure that awaits, what the fuck is the end game? Do we all get a prize at the end? Do we all get participation trophies for existing in the human race? When is it that we've accomplished, when will it be that we've accomplished enough? When will it be that we've succeeded enough? When will it be that we've accumulated enough money that it will be enough? What is the end game here? Is there a point like we're all running this race, right? You got to also remember we're just focusing on one right now. Just you. What is your end game? You're running this race, you're on the journey. All these hypothetical bullshit things that people say, oh, it's not the destination, it's the journey. I'm on this journey through life. My choices were made because of what happened to me in my past. Look at it. Tell me, what is the end game? What is the foreseeable future for humanity? And now we got transhuman. Look it, is that our like dipping our toe in the water of aliens? Are we like, we're gonna get to that point where we can change our fucking DNA and we can breathe underwater? We can be amphibious human? I don't know. Look it, I really don't know, but these are, you gotta remember folks, facts in my motherfucking opinion. But truly, you got to ask yourself, what's your end game, right? What's your end game? And then most humans will say, well, I live and then, I raise a family and blah, 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 and I make money, blah, 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 and then I retire, blah, blah, blah. Maybe I get hurt along the way, blah, blah, blah. And then what happens at the end of your life? What happens? You die? Cool. And then what? Okay, now that we've gotten you out of the way, now that we've focused on you for a bit, let's do this. Because remember how I shook the baby thought? Maybe I was shaking the baby. I was shaking the baby of your thought. I was just shaking the fuck out of it last episode. I'm kicking the baby this time. I'm kicking it. Like kicking dicks out of dogs. I'm kicking your thought today. I'm just gonna kick your thought. Just gonna kick it. Now think about this. Since your endgame, you, singular, human, one body, one human, one person, one, you. If your endgame is to die, or death, or expire, or however you want to phrase it, if you live a life or exist in life, which is the proper term, you exist in life. I mean, unless you don't know words or the meaning of words, you would take this the wrong way. But since you all are listening, you must know what words mean. So, let's zoom out. Let's zoom out. And I'm going from you, right? I'm going from you, singular, to zooming all the way out to all of existence. Because in order to get, you must start with something small to find out large results. So, we started with you. The end game for you as a human is to live and then die. What happens in the middle, those choices are up to you. But in fact, you live because you're born and then you die. Now let's zoom out 165 billion humans ago. We're going to zoom out 160 billion humans. So if you know what the number 1 is, and you can count to 165 billion, that's how many other yous have graced their presences with life on planet Earth. So, what's the end game for humanity? Because last I checked, all them humans are worm food. I'm putting my hands in the air on this one, folks. What is the end game for humanity? Again, I gotta say it. Are we just existing to outlive the inevitable? Which in fact is extinction? I mean, would it be a bad thing? Would it? I mean, if we have evolved, if we had evolved, if we've evolved, if we are still currently evolving, would it be a bad thing? If extinction happened to human, I'd say not at all. Now look, I know the outrage. I get it. I could see the outrage. Whoa, what the fuck? This is how I feel. This is what I'm gonna tell you. This is what I feel. This is what I feel. I'll feel until I die. But you still die. To say that one of the answers for what here could possibly be an answer. Here's one of the possible answers that may possibly be out there that someone may have and may express. What is the end game for humanity? To continue to love, to continue to struggle every day, to continue to fight for what I can't have, to continue to fight to work, to continue to fight for women's rights, to continue to fight against our government, continue to fight against other governments, to continue to raise our families happily, to continue to buy the beach house in Long Island, to continue to move to Australia and then leave everything behind, to continue to break through the ice to try to see if there is an ice wall surrounding our flat Earth, to continue to keep going to space to actually observe what? And then what? And then what? And why? And then what? And why? You have an answer? And then I say, and then what? And why? And then what? And why? What is the end game for humanity? For? What is the end game for humanity? Obviously, folks, I'm just a guy who says words. Do I try to have fun while saying words? I sure do. I surely do. There's only one way to know, and that is to ask questions, not just be told answers. But look, I know, I get it. But Epiphany, Chris, this is supposed to be a comedy podcast. Well, if you can't look around you in the life you're living and laugh, and literally utterly laugh to the point where you are on the floor, tears coming out of your face, snot dripping down between your nose and the nose and mouth little bridge right there. If every day that you get up and every day that you see what's happening and going on in this world, if you can't get up and fucking literally die laughing at every single goddamn thing that's going on, maybe you need to cease existing. Again, we like words around here, folks. Look them up. But let's focus on some positive for the next episode. The next episode, maybe it'll be a little lighter. Maybe it will be a little lighter. But maybe not. Here's something to think about for the upcoming episode of the Trap House podcast. First impressions. A lot's been said. Not much has been done. I've just been literally sitting here on my nice little bamboo cushioned chair with nothing but time. And time is so tricky too, isn't it? I mean, she's really tricky. She's tricked me into a lot of things. She's tricked me into doing things, going places, seeing things, thinking about things. She's had me feeling things. Also, look up the word feeling. It means the ability to touch. To touch. So just since I'm wasting a little bit of time here today, and I've obviously got things. I've obviously got so much going on. I mean, people are kicking my door down, trying to hang out, trying to be a part of the Trap House podcast, trying to find out what thought is. I can't keep them back. I can't. It's impossible. It's impossible. You know how I keep people away? You know how I have the ability to just make sure that my box is always empty for free thought? Just tell people the truth. Just tell other human beings truth and fact. If you tell other humans in your life truth and fact, you'll have as much free time as you want. If you make it your goal, if you make a plan to say, you know what? I'm going to be honest with these motherfuckers today. If you make it a goal and then you make a plan to just be honest, but to be truly honest. And to say truly honest is kind of fucking an oxymoron, doesn't it? I mean, but to be truly honest, to tell people how it is, when it is, and why it is. If you do that, shit, you're going to have so much free time, you're not going to know what to do with it. You may even start a podcast. Now, I'm not saying go out and be an arrogant cunt. I'm not saying go out and be a cocksucker. I'm not saying go out and fucking yell at people and tell people how it is all the time. I'm saying, and I've thought about it, so I've thought about it, now I'm saying it. Go out and do your daily routine. And while doing your daily routine, just be honest. Have you ever gone out and then you see maybe a woman and she's pushing a stroller, and inside that stroller there's a baby, and then people are like, "Oh, your baby's so cute, how adorable," but then you get a glimpse of that baby and that baby looks like it had been hit by a bus? Don't lie to that mother. Don't lie to that human and that baby. Your baby's ugly as fuck, lady. Number one, it's gonna make her feel better knowing that somebody is telling her the truth as opposed to someone feeding her bullshit. Because as the mother, she should know, my baby came out looking like a messed up pancake. My baby's face looks like it just got smushed against a cheese grater. Yeah, these are the things. These are just small little things. Because what you hear and what you say, it's important. Now, if you're going out and someone says, "Hey, how you doing?" Tell them the truth. Be honest with them. If you're having a shitty day, "Listen, dude, just lost my dog. I'm not having a good day." Or you just say, "I'm doing good. I'm doing great." You know, like, you can't just pass off what you say. Because what you say is so fucking important. So make it count. And when you do make it count, make sure you're honest. Treat every human like they are the only human. Now, if that doesn't make sense, imagine being one human, and then there's another human, and then that's it. I can't critard it any more than that. I can't critard it any more than that. Just treat humans truthfully, honestly, factually. Just do that. If you were to just be you, but on top of just being you, be you honestly. Don't let manipulation, deceitfulness, and malicious intent cloud your words. So let's dive in. Let's dive into 2 words. Let's just dive into just 2 fucking words. Just for a moment. Just for a moment. Just, just a little instance. Just a little instance in time. Probably be about 3 or 4 minutes on the podcast, but just what I'm saying is just for an instance. These 2 words. Facts. Emotions. In reality, which one is accepted most? Which one is the go-to? Which one of these 2 words is upstanding? Which one of these 2 words is truth? Because it's a blurry fucking line, in my factual opinion. It's very blurry. It's like 3 sheets to the wind blurry. It's like Cloud 9 blurry. It's like chlorine water in the eyes blurry. This line between facts and emotions. So I'm just going to read what each word means. And I'm going to start with this one. Fact. the word fact. Something that actually exists. Reality. Truth. Now, I will read the meaning of the word emotion. An affective state of consciousness. Spontaneous mental reaction. I'm going to add this in because since I'm a human and I can define things and give them meaning, emotion is not based on reality or on facts. If they were, these two words would be the same. Please remember, if you don't fucking remember anything about this episode, please remember this. It is beyond important that you be you. Please remember, folks, these are all facts, in my opinion, and I hold these as facts. Thanks for showing up. Please go out, be you, and be the best you only you can be.